I seen. He said, you did good. And he said, you're an actor now. And then the guy I did the scene with, the next day, he put me in another movie. So I filmed 2 movies in 1 week. And I had never done acting before.
That is amazing.
And sometimes, I do this on purpose. I'll say something crazy just to get the people to say, did he really say that?
Yeah, back at their attention.
And then I come out with something else, and that's how you keep the crowd's attention.
What are you asking for right now?
How do you get kicked out of
and
this
they didn't
place?
get and they didn't get kicked out.
Crowd.
And at that moment, they didn't get kicked out yet, right? I'm like,
Yeah.
listen, no. I'm like, how would you feel if you were filming something? You invited me. I tell you, okay, how about I sit with you while you edit your thing? And then they're like, well, how about I give you $100 to delete it? Now that I take that as an insult. There's something so beautiful here in the community, like and especially the comedy community, like with the art that I love going. We just saw your special, right? Your special taping.
Appreciate y'all for coming out.
No, of course.
No,
it was a
great.
blast.
We had a blast. Yeah, sincerely.
But it seems like this new generation. We went to the Dirty Bull last night, and at the first it was like there's all these people going up that are not even doing comedy. They're not even doing honest comedy. It's almost like they're building a character that's not funny, that's all self-deprecating about their anxiety or all this bullshit, and they're kind of afraid to go edgy, which is where I think you get those laughs where you're like, fuck, I should not be laughing at this.
Right.
But it's funny. And I like that you're able to play with like edgy humor, racial humor. That's why I really appreciate Hunter. I'm like, there's not many like white guys that
Hunter.
are willing to go there and be
it.
funny, and like put themselves out there.
Well, and I think, authenticity is really what it boils down to. Is like what you were saying. You're like, you're not going to get up there and lie. You're going to tell the truth. And
I want to be authentic when I'm up there, and that's
talk about things that are funny to you.
Yeah, and I'm glad Arturo said what he said about he see comics going up there, and they're talking about other stuff, and he's echoing what a lot of people in the audience tells me.
What's that?
Well, first of all, they say a lot of them they don't think are funny. Then they say a lot of them they're not telling jokes.
Mm-hmm.
They're just up there like having a therapy session.
Yeah. They're like, oh, I'm awkward. I didn't see
they
what
tell me
happened.
like I've even had some people say, well, are they working on new jokes, Dink? Because they said that last week and the week before and the week before and
Sure. Well, so that's interesting to me because I am not a comic, and I've been interested because we've interviewed so many different types of comics, and so many of them say that they do the same jokes over and over again because they're trying to finesse them. Are you not of that mind?
Yeah, I believe you should, once you have a 5-minute set or whatever, work it out till you think you got it where you want to be. I think you should do that. However, I also believe that, and I'm speaking for myself now.
We want to know what you think.
Once I have a 5-minute bit or whatever it is I know works, and I've tried a couple times, I put it to the side and I'm on to the next one because I'm constantly writing and trying new stuff. Because I don't want to become complacent for one, but number two, once I know this set of jokes work, then there's no need for me to keep on using it. When I say keep on using, there's no need for me to keep going to the same mic, saying the same 5 minutes over and over.
Yeah, like you already got it compressed down to where it needs to be.
Doesn't mean I can't go back and add stuff to it, but some of my jokes are from a larger set anyway because we only get 4 to 5 minutes anyway.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
you're just grabbing from things.
Yeah, like last night. I don't know if y'all saw it. Was there when I said the joke? I used the joke about I took my mom got mad because I took 2 of her wigs and I used them to get the cornbread out the oven.
Well,
yeah.
We've heard you do that joke before. Yeah, that's good.
So I said that joke last night, but that's part of a bigger joke about black women
washing
their hair, being around black women. It's part of a longer story, and I just pulled that out of there.
Yeah.
And the same thing with the woman laying got a wig on your chest. It does feel like Easter egg hair. Like that's really what I think when that happens. But these are jokes that come from. Yeah, so once I know it works, I'm coming back the next week with something else. I'm always writing, come trying new stuff out.
Did you get some laughs from that joke?
Oh yeah, I did.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
My biggest laughs came from that one and the one about Bad Bunny, I think.
Okay.
Because sometimes I'm on stage.
I like your joke about Bad Bunny. That's very funny too.
Yeah, I'm on stage. I can hear people laughing, but I can't hear them laughing. If that make any sense, it's like you hear them, but
You're focused on your target?
Yeah,
maybe?
yeah,
You're
'cause
focused on
see-
your craft?
Yeah, because when I'm up there, I try to, for 4 or 5 minutes, I try my best to engage with the crowd.
Okay.
I try to be a public speaker that's telling jokes. I want to be as personable as possible.
Yeah.
I want to be as natural as possible,
Sure.
as authentic as possible, and as real as possible. I want the people to relate to me.
Yes. Like you're talking to your friends.
Yeah, see, like I'm talking to y'all now. I never ever want to be like I'm talking down to the audience.
Sure.
So you want the audience. What I learned from stand up, it's like having a conversation. You going to a job interview, and you want the guy. If you're the employer, you want to be able to relate to the potential employee. You know, a lot of times you can get a job based off your personality, how you relate to them.
Yeah.
You don't want it to be a carbon copy where you know they ask you a question and you just give robotic answers.
Sure.
Right.
So it's the same thing.
I want to work here because I need a job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
People
you
like
want
working with people they like.
Yeah, you want the truth. A professor in college told me, he said, just be honest. You know, and I learned that also in the military. Just, you know, you can give these corporate answers, but be as real as possible. And that's what that's what I like about stand-up. That's what I want to do. I want to be able to talk about Bad Bunny tickets are expensive as hell.
Yeah.
You know? But at the same time, I want to be funny, but I'm like, yeah, well, you jump in the crowd and teach my daughter some Spanish or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
And you want things to be relatable. And I found out if you're relatable to the audience, you win them. You win the crowd.
Absolutely.
Just like in the Gladiator. You know, I don't know if you saw the movie Gladiator. He said,
I love that movie.
he said, I didn't, I'm paraphrasing. He said, I didn't win my freedom because I killed the fastest. I won because I won the crowd.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
He told Maximus,
The people,
win the crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's like that with anything.
Yeah.
And as long as you are personable and authentic and you for the people,
Yeah.
they're gonna be on your side. They'll laugh at your jokes even if they don't think it's funny.
Even if they don't even necessarily understand.
Understand it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I hear
like-
that.
Yeah.
They like you. They think they're like,
Yeah.
oh man, he's
'Cause
funny.
their jokes, I tell people all the time, you know, I tell a lot of black comedians when I practice my jokes, most of my jokes are practiced at open mics in predominantly white environments. They're not in front of black people. And white people laugh at the jokes. If some of them don't understand it, they come to me later and say, hey, what did you mean by that? And I explain to them, and then they bust out laughing because then they get it.
Is that like that's interesting to me that somebody would come up to you afterwards and ask you to explain that because they didn't understand it. I really, really love that lack of ego in them that they wanted to know.
Right.
And rather than being embarrassed and never finding out, they asked you about it. That's
Right,
interesting.
and I'm glad to tell them because we got different cultures. And
Sure.
it's certain things that, like, when I said the joke about the 2 wigs, somebody white probably thinking, why are 2 wigs on the kitchen counter? Well, black people do wash their women. They do wash their hair in the sinks. Now, I'm not saying other
It's
races
just
don't do
more
it.
convenient. And as
Yeah.
a white woman who has worn every single kind of extensions and
Right,
wigs,
right.
I've had plenty of wig in the sink before.
Right.
So I understand
Yeah.
that joke and I feel very,
And for the people who didn't get it, who probably didn't understand it at first, that's why I added the black to it.
Yeah.
That's why I
hear you.
actually bust out laughing.
Yeah.
You know, as a black. And I know white people got it because they would bust out laughing too, but
Some of them get it, some of them,
And some of them don't.
But it's the delivery of it. It's the way you relate to the crowd.
Yeah.
It's the way that you bring them in on the joke.
yeah, you want to bring it home. You want to, when you're on stage, you want to be as comfortable as possible. Like Toro, the first time I saw him, and he told these jokes, and then he told this joke, and the crowd got quiet. And I said, I love that because now you got their attention.
Yeah.
See, the key to stand up, it's not always making people laugh.
Okay.
It's about being interesting.
Yes. I agree with that.
And one of the
Agreed.
greatest comedians ever said that, and that was Richard Pryor. I remember him saying that long before I got into stand up. And if you can get the crowd to listen to you, then you got them.
Yeah.
As long as you got them and they're not on their phone. Because
Yes.
and sometimes, not sometimes, I do this on purpose. I'll say something crazy just to get the people to say, did he really say that?
Yeah. Back at their attention.
And then I come out with something else. And that's how you keep the crowd's attention.
Okay.
And like I said, it all plays into them, you know, liking you and you being personable. Because I've seen comedians get on stage and think they're better than everybody. They think they're the
Yeah.
smartest
Yeah.
person in the room and you're talking down to the audience. Like if I
Sure,
deal with
yeah.
somebody in the audience, I'm playing with them to the most degree. I'm not trying to.
They're in on the joke.
They ain't on the joke. I'm
They're
not
part of
trying
the
to.
joke.
talk down to them.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to be relatable as I can be, you know?
Yeah. You think it's funny and you would like it if they laughed too.
Yeah, because
you want to share the joke because you think it's funny.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I've seen comedians do the opposite.
Yeah.
They want to get up there and just
explain to you why it's funny.
Yeah.
I don't like that either. I don't really like it when somebody explains to me why their joke is funny. And I'm like, well, if you have to explain to me why it's so funny, maybe it's not that funny.
Leave it up to the audience. But see, when you let your personality out and you engage with them, you ain't got to do that.
Yeah.
I totally agree with one thing that I wanted to bring that you pointed out is authenticity. And it seems like I see that sometimes lacking, right? Like, for example, we ran this podcast with already probably like 30 episodes, a bunch of comics locally, right? And the only time it went badly was when it's an episode that we can't even release because I ended up having to throw this person out of my house.
Are you for real?
Yeah, it was
was wild, honestly.
They came in asking
with y'all too?
Yeah.
With us.
So they came in prepared, like, and sometimes people come in apprehensive. That's no problem, you know. We loosen them up by the end, but they came in. Well, what's the theme? What's the theme here? And I'm like, the theme is you. However, the conversation flows, you know, like. And then I think they gave some answers because you know. What I want is authenticity. And the crowd, like, there's a lot of intellectual thing going on. I'm like, I want to get you to where you laugh, where you're like, oh, shit. Yeah. Why am I laughing at that, right? And I don't think that the answers that they gave, right? Like, I asked them this question. I'm like, well, and I think this is the answer that they didn't like. Well, they didn't like that I didn't like Judd Apatow, and I think that Judd Apatow is a poser because he was making raunchy comedies 20 years ago, and now he's all a schoolboy, right?
Right.
So, but, like, he didn't like my answer. I'm like, I asked him, if there's something that you find funny, but you say that joke and the crowd doesn't laugh versus you have a joke that's like, it's not very deep, it doesn't matter, but it just makes people laugh. Which one you choose? I thought he would pick the first one.
Right.
But he's like, no, I'm just one to laugh. You know? And I was like, I'm like, you might be a comic, but I didn't find that to be too much of an artist move. Then what are you saying?
Right.
Like, if you're not saying stuff about yourself, and the reason why I had to kick them out was like, like I tell everybody that comes on the show, it's like, you know, if you want me to edit something out, write it on the paper. If it then comes out and you want something slipped by, let me know. I'll pull it, edit it, send it back up. They say to me, no. Well, you know, I don't know. Maybe the podcast didn't go that well. I'm like, what are you talking about? It was real. You know, even if we had a slightly adversarial conversation, that's life. That's, you know. Yeah. And they're like, oh, well,
good podcast.
I'm like, tell me whatever you want me to cut out. I'll cut it out. Tell me. And he's like, well, how about I sit down with you while you edit and I tell you. And in my mind, I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, I already.
Like, that's my art, you know? Like, you were like, you know?
Yeah, that's kind of unprofessional for them to even unethical because I know the part you're doing.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm in the industry. Oh, you know, I work closely with somebody that did the same thing. So.
Yeah.
For someone to say, I want to sit with you and do it, you like.
Yeah.
Well, and you know, it may be, I don't know that was a reasonable thing to ask, but either way, we had guests. We had guests, the next podcast guests, and coming in 30 minutes. So it's like, what are you asking for right now?
How do you get kicked out of
and
this
they didn't
place?
get, and they didn't get kicked out.
Crowd.
And at that moment, they didn't get kicked out yet, right? I'm like, listen, no. I'm like, how would you feel? And I think they have a podcast. If you were filming something, you invite me, I tell you, okay, how about I sit with you while you edit your thing? And they're like, oh, okay. And they're like, well, how about I give you $100 to delete it? Now that I take that as an insult.
I don't blame you.
You know, like, I was like, you just fucking insulted me. Get the fuck out of my house.
Right.
You know, because it's like, I was, you know, and it's like, oh, so I'm just an asshole now, you know? Like, where you just, like, throw me some money. Like, you know, I don't need the $100, you know? Like, especially not to, because you didn't like how you authentically responded, you know?
You know, it's funny you said that. I always tell the producer I work with, the guy who actually recorded my special, I said, comedians a lot of them are some insecure people.
I would agree with that.
A lot of them have a lot of issues.
Yeah.
Oh, there's
even though I love stand-up, I'm not part of that group. I find a lot of these comedians being insecure, haters, jealous,
gatekeepers, you know.
I feel like they were they got bullied as kids or something, because comedy is their identity. And I tell people this all the time. Well, not everybody, but I share this with y'all, and I shared it with my friend. I didn't need comedy to identify me.
Yeah.
I was funny before I even got on stage, among my peers anyway.
Yeah.
I had a good time and everything. I've always been confident. I played sports. I got girls coming up.
You were in the military, right?
I was in the military.
Yeah.
I've always been a confident male. I've always been that way. Confident. I didn't have to get on the stage to do that.
Yeah.
Some of these comics, they got to have stand-up. That's their...
Because that's their thing.
That's their thing, it's their identity. That's who they are. They want you to know they're a comic because they're so fragile outside of that.
Yeah.
And because of that, you see a lot of immaturity in them, like with that person.
Yeah.
A lot of insecurities. And that's why a lot of them... I ain't gonna say all comics are like this, but that's why some of them, I can't be their friend outside of a comedy club.
I hear
Yeah.
that.
I can do a show with you. We can have a beer together there. But no, I'm not coming to your house. You're not coming to mine.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
You're not gonna be a part of my world because some of these, they got issues.
Yeah.
And I wasn't raised that way. And I'm 50 years old. And the friends I do have are the ones who I roll with probably for the rest of my life now. You know, I'm a very friendly person. I can get along with anybody. And I used to just grab friends because I like everybody.
Yeah.
But as I got
It's
older,
easy when you are
Yeah.
a really vibrant kind of person to make friends really easily.
but when I got into the stand-up, that changed everything. I'm like, man, these are some. I feel like I'm in a horror movie around some of these people, man, because
my
a lot
goodness.
of them are very insecure.
But they
It's like not like they're not whole people. It's
They're
like,
not whole people, yeah.
It's like they're not. It's like you are not a real person. You're just pretending to be
Right.
this. You're acting like a person. It's like
Yeah.
I can't trust anybody that's not a real person.
Yeah, like I love doing stand up, but I have friends that's in the comedy game I'm cool with, and we can hang out. We ain't even talking about stand up.
Yeah.
We talking about sports and other stuff. I mean, yeah, we might mention it because we are comics, but
yeah.
we doing a whole different thing.
You have a life outside of comedy.
Yeah, and
that is just a single facet
Yeah, it
of
doesn't
you.
identify me more. When I go around my family and friends, sometimes they would tell people I'm a comic. I won't even mention it.
Yeah.
They say, man, just my cousin, he's a comedian. He got a comedy special, blah blah blah, and I don't even mention it sometimes. You know.
Do you find that your friends and family are very impressed by that? And
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
a little bit.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
that's sweet though.
they,
Isn't it? That's nice.
They tell my mom tell everybody I'm a comedian,
that's
I'm
great.
an actor. I like that they do it, but
I like that too. I think that
they-
they should be so freaking proud of you. Like I was so impressed with your comedy special
well,
and
thank you so much.
glad to be there. Like honestly. Honored.
I'm humbled that y'all came. I'm
And
humbled.
people turned out. That room was full.
Yes,
Yeah.
that room was super full and the laughs were great and like the stage presence was great. The DJ was great. I was in like all of it was
Yeah,
really
I
good.
was glad to see y'all there, man.
Super
It meant a lot to see
professional.
y'all there, and I'm very humbled by the compliments and everything. Because stand up, as Tora would tell you, is not an easy thing.
No, it doesn't.
And to have the turnout we had, to have people like y'all come and support me, to make it what it was, I am truly humbled and appreciative. You know, it's for y'all to do it because as he'll tell you, it's not an easy thing to do, and especially to build up a fan base, man. So when fans tell me I made them laugh and they enjoy the special, I love it.
Can I ask you what
Yeah, go
got
ahead.
you into comedy?
I just wanted to give it a try. It was like something on the bucket list.
On the bucket list, so like recent or a long time
How long
ago?
ago? Yeah.
I'll say
How long have you been in comedy?
7 years. Going on
7
8.
years.
nice.
Okay.
40,
So
I started in August 24th, 2015.
and what led into that? Can I ask, was there a real catalyst or?
As I got older in my 40s, I just said, I might just try stand up.
Yeah.
And everybody said, man, you funny, you need to try it. And I've always liked stand up comedy.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna go to an open mic. I'm gonna do this. And it was just something that was just pushing me like, yo, you gotta try this. So I never forget, August 24th, I wrote down these jokes. And I hit up a comedian. I said, man, what's a good place to go to? So he recommended the Second Wind in Chapel Hill.
Okay.
I'm sorry, in Carrboro. It's in Carrboro, Second Wind. So I went there. I'm the last comedian, and I'm the only black comedian.
Interesting.
So I'm watching these other comedians go up there. They getting laughs and everything, and I'm nervous. I am about to pee on myself, man. I was so nervous. I was like, man, what I got myself into? So I get up there. I put the notes in my pocket, and I'm thinking, well, the people say I'm funny, so I'm just going to start telling these jokes, and nobody's laughing.
Oh no.
I go into joke after joke, and these white people just looking at like,
Oh no.
what is this black man doing? I was already the last one, and I'm black.
I don't know about wigs in the sink.
So I had one joke left. And I looked at my head. In my head, I said, God, I'm going to say this last joke. If they don't laugh, I'm getting the hell off this damn stage. I never try it again. And I'm going to slap everybody that ever said I was funny. So I tell this very vulgar joke. And these two white dudes, I know to this day, bust out laughing in the back of the bar. I looked up at God and said, I found my calling, and I've been doing it ever since.
Hallelujah. Praise the Lord.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Yeah. And the thing about it, when I tell people that story, that whole day, I didn't get cold feet. I didn't try to come up with an excuse. It was I had just something was pushing me like, you going on that stage. You gonna do this. Like, I couldn't even, if I wanted to come up with an excuse, I couldn't. It was just a driving force that was gonna make me go on that stage that night. And I know that had to be God, because you know how sometimes you're gonna try to find a way to get out of something.
Yeah.
Sure.
You're like, man, I ain't going to that, or whatever it may be. But that day, it was something that was pushing me, and I've been doing it ever since. And that was August 24th, maybe 7 years ago.
Wow.
Then 2.5 years later, I dropped my first comedy special on August 24th, 2018. And that's on Amazon Prime now, Ghettorauchi.
Ghettorauchi. We're out to check
So
it
how did
out.
you do that? Like I saw it on Amazon Prime. I didn't have the money to pay for it at the time, but
Maybe soon.
And this nice,
We're in a recession.
this nice house, I refuse to believe it, man.
Tesla
Manly
Tesla
Girly
fucking
Studios.
fucked me this year. But how did you do that? How did you like? Because that's very cool. Like everybody's got Amazon. You know, like everybody can just log on,
Which means you're legit.
I think this is one way God showing me favor, but this is in 2015 was a very interesting year for me in that's when my acting career took off and my comedy career took off.
Okay.
Ty Banks, the guy who produced my comedy special, he put me in this comedy movie called Bless Your Heart. And I'm gonna tell you how this happened. Ty Banks is, he had already had one movie already out. So he's on Facebook saying, yeah, I'm putting this new movie out. So I hit up Ty, I said, man, I want to be in your movie, man. Me and Ty known each other since we were little. So I'm thinking Ty's like, it's going to blow me off. He said, man, send me your email address. I said, I sent him my email address. I'm still not, think he just messing around.
Yeah.
He sent me the script. I said, oh man, he sent me the script.
Oh shit.
I gotta learn these lines. So I printed out and I learned the lines. And the following week we went and we filmed it. Me, him, and this other guy. We filmed our scene. He said, you did good. And he said, you're an actor now. And then the guy I did the scene with, the next day, he put me in another movie. So I filmed 2 movies in 1 week. And I had never done acting before.
That is amazing. Are you kidding? That's falling upwards. Are you kidding me? You just fell into that.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
Keith Cottrell, good friend of mine. Me and Keith have done 3 movies together now under Ty Banks.
Do you know what? I love that speaks to like grab the opportunities that are available to you. And if you are in a position where there are people that are around you that make
Absolutely,
your opportunity. The people around you are probably not so, adverse to those kinds of calls.
Yeah, and
obviously he needs some help. He needed somebody in his movie.
Yeah, and the fact that we grew up together, we like family, that speaks volumes about him. Because of him, I have my second comedy special, and I have probably over 24 credits on IMDb.
DB.
Yeah, DB.
That's awesome.
That's great. Yeah.
All because of Ty Banks. All because of him. He's the reason I have the credits.
All because you reached out to him.
Yeah, I reached out to him, yeah.
Yeah.
And he filmed my special. He was in there filming my second one.
Nice.
We work a lot together, so every special I do moving forward, he'll do it.
That's great.
And he's going to help me put it out there. Matter of fact,
He's a
I'm
real
actually at
friend.
home looking over it to give back to him so he can edit it and put it out there. So that's how I'm sitting here now with y'all. That's how I met him. That's how I started 7 years ago, and now it led me to be around this fantastic person with this fantastic little woman. So
no. If anything, you honor us by being here.
Genuinely, we've been trying to have you here for a while. Actually,
yeah, 'cause we had talked before.
Yeah.
We did.
I love going on my friend's podcast. Anything I can do, and I couldn't wait to be on his because I knew it was going to be just like this. You're gonna have to be
Well,
going.
for a second, and I was telling Andy about it. Like I tell her, I'm like, some people don't recognize me without the wig, and you had to recognize. You're like, oh shit, you're you, like So
I love it, man, because it's different. Like, be different.
Be different. Yes.
Because
be
we are
interesting.
different. Yeah. You don't want to be. I tell comedians this all the time. Be yourself on the stage.
Yes.
We all made differently. Don't be like Richard Pryor. Don't be like Bill Burr. Be yourself.
Yeah.
Because when you're yourself, you're gonna be more authentic. You're gonna be more natural.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Forget the other people that's funnier than you, even the ones you don't think that are not funny. Just be you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a competition. You're competing with yourself.
You compete with yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
people build up all these expectations, and I'm glad that you said that because I always tell people, and it's like a thing I live by.
Right.
There's really, whether it's comedy or not, right? Who knows if people are going to be doing this comedy for a long time or not, right?
Right.
There's no way at failing at life by being yourself. You can only fail at life if you're trying to be somebody else.
Right.
Okay? And you got to fail at it because you're not somebody else. You know?
Right. Yeah. Like I would see him go up on stage and he would say the craziest shit. I'm like, man, that's what's up. I love it because they not only laughing, but they like, man, what the hell? Because
they're so confused by him. That's what makes me giggle. You know what I mean?
Because he says, I think you got a joke about Whitney. Is it Whitney Houston? You got a joke about?
I don't know. No, maybe not.
You said it was somebody you said that died. I think I don't know why I think it was Whitney, but it was funny as hell to me.
He wears a Whitney sweater too.
That's what it was. Yeah. You said you had a joke about it.
Something. Yeah.
And
he loves that Whitney sweater.
I'm always trying to write new shit. So
and the crowd was like, "Oh my god, I can't believe he did that."
Silent.
But I love it when they're silent because you got their attention right there.
Oh,
yeah.
I tell Andy the one thing that I love about a crowd that is silent is like I like to sniff them out because a lot of times they want to laugh. I'm like I only gauge my bomb jokes if let's say they're silent and I do a follow up to release that pressure and they laugh. I'm like now I know you wanted to laugh at and maybe I need to approach it better.
Right.
But you wanted to laugh and maybe there's too much thinking going on.
Right. And I tell them that I've had jokes on stage and I say, white people, you can laugh. I'm going to say the N-word, but you can laugh. And they be like, huh? I'm like, no, not that N-word. I'm going to say Negro or nice or naughty. You can laugh. And I say that. I want to loosen them up. I want them to feel comfortable to laugh at anything I say. You know, I know at the Dirty Bull, they got guidelines, right, for example. Yeah. So I don't have any material that's going to really go outside of that. But at the same time, I want people to be able to laugh at whatever I say. I say, look, you can laugh. You're not.
You're describing your experience.
Yeah.
How can I specifically identify with that unless you let me in?
Right. And that's why I tell them, say, look, laugh at what I'm gonna say. I might say some stuff that you find offensive, but it ain't really offensive. It's all behind
because
the
you're
joke.
asking me to laugh at. You're
want you
asking me to be a part of the joke.
Yeah, you had a free show, laugh, baby.
Yes.
Yeah, enjoy it. I say,
if you would laugh at it with your friends, we should laugh at it with you.
Exactly, because this is the cheapest date you can get. The Dirty Bull is a cheap date.
100%. I tell people they should go to open mics for a date. 100%.
I'm going to tell you, like, when they had the Dinkery food truck out there, I don't know if you was here with the Dinkery. The Dinkery had, like, they like the number one food truck.
They had a lot of weed?
No,
it's fire. The food.
Well, the cooks there had a lot of weed.
Yeah. I mean, you want to go there after you smoke a lot of weed.
Delta 8 is what I had meant.
So it's like fries with all this shit on it. It's so good.
The guy had like you would have lines outside waiting like an hour in advance to get his food.
Really?
Right. So
where's this at? Let's go.
Well, he moved it to over there by North Carolina Central University.
Yeah, and they're opening up a Raleigh location, I think, near Glenwood. Yeah, he's opening a second one. Yeah.
Well, he got one right there by North Carolina Central University.
The Dinkery doing good.
Yeah, good chicken. I mean, it's great.
Okay.
And the reason why I say it was a cheap date to come because people would literally bring their girlfriends and wives and sometimes their kids, get something for the Dinkery, sit down and eat, and then go watch the free open mic. And it'd be packed.
That is a date.
Yeah, it is a date. Yeah.
I want to go.
Yeah.
I want to go to the Dinkery and I want to go see a comedy show.
And then you get a character like that on stage. I mean, it's really, it's really a date. Yeah.
I mean, Arturo is a character.
He's a character. He don't care what he says either.
He doesn't care.
I do not.
And I said, yeah, that's what I like, because that's the way you need to be. You can't be up there and be all prom and prepper and.
Well, you know what? Like when I came up in comedy, right? Like my role models was Greg Giraldo, Patrice O'Neill, where it was like elephant in the room. I'm like, Patrice O'Neill goes fucking hard, and it's so funny where he's like talking about having a white slave, but that joke kills.
Yeah,
that joke is so good, and it's like
love Patrice O'Neill, man.
And it's like he was always funny.
Did it stop being funny?
No.
And that's why people went to see him because he's telling the truth. Like there's there's truth in comedy. Like,
but I guess what I don't like about comedy right now is that everybody is telling they're sitting at home and they're watching these comedians that they think are very fucking funny.
Right.
Patrice O'Neal, Dave Chappelle, Richard Pryor, and they think that shit is funny, and then they get up on stage and they say the most PC, just garbage.
Oh my God.
Literal garbage. They don't believe it, and you can hear
Yeah,
that
you
they
hear
don't
it.
believe it
You
when
can
it
hear
comes
it.
out of their mouth.
Because you know what?
Like,
It's not
you
them.
don't believe this shit.
Yeah, because it's not them.
It's not you. Yes.
You can only be yourself when you're true to yourself.
Yes.
The only time you should play a character is unless you're in a movie or something. But when you do stand up, you got to be 100% yourself. If you got a joke out there the way you feel about sex or whatever,
Do you know what though? You wouldn't have gotten that part in that movie if you weren't yourself.
there you go. Exactly. And you have to be yourself. Like there's so many jokes I have about sex, racism, everything, but it's the shit I've seen, and it's the truth.
So can I ask you a question?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
what in that instance, because you do have a lot of jokes that maybe even touch on like some touchy issues that are hard to laugh at or whatever, for whatever demographic, what are you trying to accomplish with your comedy?
When I do that, I just want people to see the realism. That's it. I want them to see what I see through my eyes and my vision. Just like a woman comic could have her jokes about men. Mm-hmm. I'm not a man, but I know how men treat women in this world. I understand when women talk about the sexism and the patriarchy and all that. As a man, I know they're telling the truth because I'm a man. I've seen it.
Yeah.
I've seen how men treat women when they're in a higher position or they're in the lower position or they just in the office with the woman. So if a woman that's a comedy come out and she got jokes about men, I'm gonna laugh at it, but I know that's her truth.
So do you appreciate then, because of that they are presenting something to you that you would not necessarily have known about?
Exactly.
And now you maybe have some perspective to them, like,
Yeah, absolutely.
like
Because
you're drawing them into that, or
Yeah.
they're drawing you into that, and they're giving you a piece of their reality.
yeah, and exactly because it allows me to see the world from their view.
I
It's
love
like
that.
it's like a child and a mother. Parents will grow up thinking they did the best for their kids.
Yeah.
However, they're discounting our experience. Like my mother, we got this joke, and it's true though. When we were growing up, my mom would cook late at night, 10, sometimes 11 o'clock. It'd be late.
Okay.
And it'll be late because my mom would go to church, choir rehearsal and all that. We'd be at my grandma's house. So by the time we got home, man, it would be like 10 o'clock for week. So we always ate late. Now, my mom's perspective is, look, I had all these things to do, but I still fed you. That's true.
It's true.
But we still ate late.
Yeah.
So two things can be true.
Yeah.
And that's our experience. We be like, man, we hungry. Like, we used to be like, man, you remember, man, we had to wait till 9 o'clock to eat. Me and my brother and sister talking about, we hungry, man, and mom, still at church. But that was our experience.
Yeah.
So my mom can't discount that. Yeah, you fed us, but you did feed us late. Having feed us late is the reason why we feel the way we feel about being hungry and why we talk about it. And it won't always late all the time, but it did happen. So my mom and my dad can't discount our experience.
Sure.
You see what I'm saying? And that's
Do you think that she should not feel like? Does your mom watch your comedy then, and does she feel some kind of way about
she
it?
don't she don't watch my comedy because she said I curse too much.
Oh, that's so interesting.
But
Like, that's funny.
no, I'm gonna tell you what's even funnier.
What?
I'm in 4 movies, right? She has not watched my stand-up, but she's seen the 2 movies I've been in.
Okay.
And they are way more graphic and more cursing than I do on stage. Now, when I say graphic, let me explain that. I don't mean it to the...
What
to
are the movies' names? That way we can
Yeah.
put
Hit a
clip.
Lick 2. Hit a Lick 2. That's
Hit a lick, yeah.
Hit a lick.
That's on Tubi TV. It's one of the most recommended and one of the most watched urban crime dramas on Tubi
check it out.
TV.
Oh shit! Okay.
And I'm the main character in Hit a Lick 2.
Oh hell yeah!
I'm
We'll
a
have to
gangster.
check it
Let's
out.
do it. Okay.
We've
I'm a
already
gangster.
watched all this shit online, so
Yeah.
we have to
Yeah.
watch that. Yeah.
The
Yes.
other one is Messy. And I tell people if they're going to watch those movies, watch Messy first, then watch Hit a Lick 2 because
We're
Hit a Lick
going
2
to.
was supposed to be the sequel to Messy.
Oh, okay.
Same cast of characters in Messy, going to
Okay.
be in Hit a Lick 2.
You almost think that Messi should have been called Hit a Lick 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Tom Banks, the producer actually has Hit a Lick 1 is already out.
Oh yeah.
But it doesn't follow the same thing.
Yeah, and then Messi.
Yeah.
Then the type
So it actually is, Hit a Lick 2 is really messy too.
Yeah.
So I tell people watch Messi first because then you will understand my character more.
Is Messi on Tubi as well?
Yeah, Messi's on Tubi too.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean it's on Tubi
Cool.
also.
Yeah, we're gonna watch it.
So my mom, we had a screening for the movie at the Dirty Bull. So my mom and my dad and my cousins, everybody came out for that.
Yeah.
She loved the fact she tell people, oh yeah, he's in the movies and everything. I seen him, and
She's
we
so
cursing.
proud of you.
Yeah, but in the movies we curse more in the movie than I do on stage.
So can I maybe she's like I'm a story driven artist.
Yeah.
She needs the story in order to be like sucked into it.
Yeah.
And she's like, then she forgets about all the other stuff.
That's true,
Right?
You're
an artist, so
Right.
wouldn't it like track that she's got some artistic?
Yeah,
you know?
my mom's always sung in the church. She can sing, so
Yeah.
I guess that's the artistic element to her. So
Yeah.
and then her being a Christian, I guess she's looking at it like, oh, if I sit down there, I could get my mom to come to one of my comedy shows if I wanted to, but I think it's just that the perception. My son's in a movie versus a special.
yeah.
She's so proud of you.
Oh yeah, she's proud
Yeah,
of me. Yeah.
my
know
son's
what?
in the movie versus my son's doing comedy.
And cursing like a sailor.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Mom, I do curse on stage, but I ain't like cursing every other
So
word.
being in a movie legitimizes you.
Yeah.
You're legit now.
Yeah, I'd rather tell my friends,
My son's
he's in the movie.
My son's in a movie.
And
Yes.
all her friends in the church love it.
Yeah.
And
sure.
But everybody loves movies,
Yeah.
regardless if you go to church or not. So
Yes.
So she's very proud of it. Very proud of it.
Well, good.
Yeah,
She should
she's
be.
very appreciate it. Yeah, she's
Yeah.
very proud of that.
Plus, it seems I heard this somewhere. I don't know if it was a podcast or not. That it seems when people get upset sometimes at jokes, right, or whatever, but they don't get upset at Django, like the movie, right?
Yeah.
Like because
Why?
the movie,
That's
they're both pieces of art, right?
Yeah.
But one is just I guess it's more direct. It's coming directly from you, and people aren't able
Story-driven.
to separate an act and
Yeah.
you, like.
That's why I tell, like when I wear the robe on stage, yes, I'm Dink Kearney, but I'm Ghettorauchi. And the Ghettorauchi represents everything about the raw truth. The robe is that everybody got a Ghettorauchi.
I love the robe.
Everybody got a Ghettorauchi in their family.
This is my robe right here.
Yeah. Everybody got that person that tells you the raw truth.
Oh, yeah.
About whatever. Just like Medea, Tyler Perry, Medea. A lot of black people could relate to Medea because we all had one in our family. Everybody got either she's a grandmother, or she's an aunt, or she's a mom. Either or. We all saw the Medea. And it was like, oh my God. And it's even in white families got the Medea.
I was gonna say I don't feel like the white families have as many Medeas.
Well, y'all have them. You have them in the deep south. You go to the country, you got them white grandmothers that's outspoken.
We do, yeah. I had,
Yeah,
I had one that was family adjacent,
Yeah.
and I really appreciated her. Man, she could fry the shit out of some chicken
Yeah.
too. Oh my God.
Just like Archie Bunker represented a lot of white America,
Okay.
And we have that, and that's who Ghettorauchi is, and that's the character. And I'm like, this is my truth serum I can talk about.
Sure.
Cause see,
It's a facet of you.
yeah, like if I say certain jokes on stage, I know I've offended people over the years. That's black, white, fat, skinny, whatever, lesbians, non-lesbians, non-gay, whatever. I have offended them, but it wasn't to offend them. It's just to tell the raw truth.
Oh, 100%. I think that
That's
like
it.
comedy might offend you, but it's not the aim for it.
Yeah, like Django. I'm glad you said Django. When Donald Trump was running for office and he became president, I had a joke about. I said I knew Donald. I should have known Donald Trump was going to win the presidency when I saw him take a picture with Don King. I didn't know if I was looking at a political picture or the next sequel to Django. So
That's a good joke.
yeah, exactly. See, in the context, it's like you got a white man who's perceived to be a racist, and you got a black man. So put them together.
It's funny though.
But see, that's it.
Why can you not comment on that? It's fucking funny.
It's funny, yeah. And I haven't said that joke probably since then because at the time it was good to say.
Yeah.
I might say it again because he's gonna run again. But it'll be the sequel. But that's
I think
the
it's
beauty
still
of
funny.
it's the beauty of stand up. Like I don't think when you go to a comedy show, you should not go to get offended. You should go to laugh and to learn something.
Yeah.
Word.
Because like I told you about women comics who may have a certain view, jokes about patriarchy. I don't get mad if a woman talks about men. I don't.
Do you feel like you learned something in those instances?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Do you learn something, like when we talked about some of the other comics that you're around, do you actually feel like you learned something even from them?
Yeah,
Those
I do.
people that you don't necessarily, like hang out with on a daily basis.
Yo,
There's
absolutely.
still something to be
Yeah, because
learned.
I keep an open mind when it comes to stand up. I take stand up for what it's worth. You can have jokes that's straight up funny.
Yeah.
Then you can have jokes that's funny but with some truth to them.
Yeah.
And
have
whether you don't like it or not, you can't unhear it, and it's some truth to it.
Yeah, and sometimes the joke's not for you. I like that you mentioned, right? Like, I also do whatever comedy you want, but I want to touch on what you mentioned earlier with the Dirty Bull rules, right? I don't think that, okay, do whatever jokes, but don't tell me that I can't do my jokes. She was with me when when I was like, what is this fucking bullshit? I went the dirtiest I could have gone the moment they put those rules up.
It's funny that you brought up the Dirty Bull guidelines, because a lot of us, I've been going through Dirty Bull out since when Rob Schneider was the original host. I've been going since like 2017.
When I first started, Rob was still hosting.
Yeah, Rob was
about
still
a year and
hosting.
change ago.
My point is, they had never really had any complaints about comics. Every now and then, I would hear they might went to the manager or whoever about a comic. But for the most part, it wasn't an issue like, oh my God, if you go to the Dirty Bull, you're going to be so offended.
Right.
Like, that was never the case. And I've heard, he tell you his comments been up there and said some of the craziest shit.
Yeah.
Well,
and somehow that was implemented. I know the story with that.
It was implemented by somebody that's not there anymore.
I know how it all started. You know how that all came. That's a whole.
Listen,
that's a whole.
I'll say it out loud. I heard that it was because Bo started putting these rules. I don't like listen. I like Bo plenty, right? Like, but for example, Bo has some jokes where he's like, "Oh, I'm listening to some nerdy," and it's like, and I remember she had said it. I'm like, listen, I went to school for science too, right? And I remember going up, I'm like, yeah, I'm a scientist too, and we're not all fucking nerds, you know? Because it's like, more power to you. But somebody else was telling me that, and we recently had a class of the thinking, what is gender? Where we go, it's like, hey, listen, I will respect anybody in my circle and call them whatever you want me, whatever you identify as. But I live in the real world, and if somebody else doesn't see what I see, I'm not gonna be like, you piece of shit bigot over there.
Right.
I understand or whatever, right? And
I know what joke you said. You just came back to me when you said that. Go ahead.
No, tell me. I guess
it was a transgender there, I think, and you said a joke, and dude, I bust out crying. It was one of your transgender jokes. I
have some. If anything,
it was one joke that was I bust out laughing.
You know what? I have one where I'm like, I identify as blonde, or something like that.
I think that's what. Yeah.
Oh no, I'm the transgender Dora the Explorer.
That's it. I knew it was something.
Yeah,
I knew it was something. I kind of got it mixed up with that. I thought maybe you was projecting. But it was funny.
No. I do remember. I'm like, AKA the transgender Dora the Explorer.
Oh man, I died.
Yeah, which is
people don't know what to do with that.
I died laughing.
It's one of his best, and I
bust out laughing. I thought it was the funniest shit ever.
Thank you.
Like to me, that's how you got to move, and you got to have the mindset. I don't give a fuck what I say when I hit that stage. Mm-hmm. Now, if you're at a place and they got all these rules and you can't say this, okay, that's one thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But if you somewhere and it's a rubber match, you can say whatever, have at it.
It's interesting to me, though, because after having heard, several months ago about all of these rules that were instigated in the open mic, last night when I was there, I would not say that those rules were specifically
I'm sorry, say that a little bit, say a little louder. I'm sorry. I'm
not sure who's the person who's the police for this.
I think it's the rules for white guys that get too edgy.
I think that the idea that you can police that sort of speech is ridiculous.
Yeah, and I think that goes back to what you said is that it's not really been policed because there never was an issue to begin with.
Yeah, you're right.
It's an inventing an issue, because comedy is subjective.
It's inventing an issue because you would have to know the root where all this came from. And see, I'm privy enough to know where a lot of this came and how we arrived at the guy.
That's fair.
Tell us, how did we arrive where we're at?
Well, I'm gonna just go with the allegedly. We're gonna start with the allegedly.
Allegedly. This is all satire.
Allegedly, this is what happened. Rob Schneider was allegedly accused of making a
pass. Yeah,
he made some comedian mad, a woman. I'm gonna say allegedly he made her mad about he basically piggybacked off one of her jokes. She called him out on it.
Sour grapes.
I love piggybacking on jokes because, by the way, I almost hope come right behind somebody so I can just start off right there, you know?
And based off of that, it became a I don't want to call it witch hunt, but it picked up momentum for something that they tried to make like Harvey Weinstein, Bill Cosby, and it wasn't that.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. It was
so what happened, the initial person didn't like what Rob said, and I'm paraphrasing what I was told. Her joke was, she like old man, blah, blah, blah. Rob came behind allegedly and just made a joke about, young women sleeping with old men. Whatever.
Okay.
That person, comedian, got mad, and that's when the ball started rolling. And then
the mob starts forming.
That particular comedian, I guess, started telling everybody else. All of a sudden, he became seen as a pariah. He became seen in the same light as Harvey Weinstein and Bill Cosby, which I thought was totally unfair because they are two totally different things.
Yeah.
So what happens is he got labeled as something that he never was.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then he had to sit down with the people at the Dirty Bull, and they had to say, okay, well, this is how we're going to work this out. That's where the guidelines came up. Mm-hmm. But it came up from, I'm not going to call this particular establishment name out, but the people came from this particular establishment at the same time was very jealous of all.
Was it Crafty Wine and Spirits?
No, but this establishment was very jealous of all the attention that Rob was getting at the Dirty Bull because he was packing the place. The Dirty Bull was packed like it was last night.
I remember outside all over the seats.
What they wanted to do is get in on that action.
Yeah.
So allegedly, from what I've been told, is that this group of people from this group establishment wanted to move in on his territory, and they used the fact that this allegations about him were going. They used that as fuel to try to take over his spot, and that's where these rules come from. Because, like I said before that, we didn't have no problem.
But what I find interesting is that it would appear that you still don't have a problem, because I was there last night, and the things that were happening were not within the guidelines that I read.
Exactly.
And I'm not a comic, and I don't know how I'm supposed to interpret those.
Well, see,
if as an audience member, is this here from me?
Yeah, because see, y'all don't have that problem.
Well, but what I'm saying is the rules, are the rules there for you, or are the rules there for me as an audience member? I am not a comic.
Well,
you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand, yeah.
Yeah, it's like you guys are supposed to police your speech to make me more comfortable. I'm there to see a comedy show.
And you know what? As a fan, I think that's something eventually y'all can say to the upper management if you feel like it. Because if y'all want it where, like, there never was a problem. There never was a problem.
It sounds to me like it wasn't a problem, and then somebody blew something a little bit maybe out of proportion.
Exactly.
And it became an issue that was then made into a policy that then, like most policies, everybody just ignored.
Right, but see, I'm gonna tell y'all some stuff off camera because
I can't wait to hear.
It's really gonna drive it home.
Thank you so much for being here, because genuinely I'm like so enthralled by our conversation and your authenticity and
And
thank you for being here.
And I love the Dirty Boy. It's a great place, and I was I hated to see Rob go, but that was beyond my control.
Rob's been nothing but nice to me as well, and I remember when I
love it. Yeah. It's home. That's how I was able to pack the place.
Well, when I went to Dirty Bull, like I moved from Austin, and it's one of the best mics I've seen. It was like a real show. Mm-hmm. Real people are going there to see open mic comedy.
Yeah, I love it, man. It's home. I've done so many shows there. I'm starting this year. I'm gonna do Ghettorauchi and Friends, so people can have comics that they love and they think are funny.
Yeah,
I love Dirty Bull, man. We've done movies up there. It's home for me, man. Like,
absolutely.
People say, "Oh man, could you do your special at the comedy club?" I said, "For what? This is home."
Yeah.
I don't need to do that.
I like that.
Yeah, if you ever, if you ever do a show where it's not a special, let us know, and maybe we can film some clips of it and put them up.
Yeah, absolutely.
we'll come
I do the Ghettorauchi and Friends, feel free, man. I'm on.
Okay, cool.
I'm trying to do like every 2-3 months, and I'm gonna have some of the funniest comedians around. The ones that are funny because the audience will be like, hey, man, we don't like this guy, we don't like this woman. I say, well, look, I tell you what, I'm gonna start bringing some funny comedians for y'all. Charge like $5 at the door, and y'all just support these guys and these women because they're very funny. Mm-hmm. And it's gonna be some of the guys they see at the Dirty Boy, and some of them not, because a lot of comedians are just want to get on the next level, So
yeah. Well, and I love that you're interested in helping them get to that next level. That you
because somebody helped me, and stand up is all about exposure.
Yeah.
If you want to get to the next level, you got to have exposure.
Yeah. Agreed.
And a lot of famous comedians don't help comedians get to the next level because a lot of them, like I said before, a lot of them, even though they may be famous, they insecure. Yeah. They don't want nobody to supplant them.
And that's insecurity. I think it lets them it gets. I've seen, and I kind of see it, and I almost feel it. I haven't been personally subjected to it because I'm not trying to get paid to do comedy, right? Like I'm doing a different approach, and it's but I do see people are like, maybe limiting themselves because this person's not going to book me on a show. Yeah. When I say it's like, be funny, or like, I see like what they call gatekeeping. People are like, oh no. Well,
they do that all the time.
I got to kiss the ring,
We don't want to play the game.
I ain't going to play the game. I'm 50 years old, man, and I know some of these older comedians, they'll talk down to other comedians that hasn't been in the game a long time.
Yeah.
But these are grown men.
Yeah.
And you're not gonna talk to me any type of way. I don't care how long you've been in the game. And like I'm retired for one, so I ain't got to kiss nobody behind to go chase behind some stage time.
What's interesting to me is that there are people who are comedians and want people to laugh at them, and then are more willing to get up there and shit on everybody else.
Right.
Getting up there and practicing their own craft and honing their own craft, and it's like, okay,
Right, exactly.
I don't know. I don't appreciate that.
Nah, you want authenticity. You want people to be real, man, and that's the best way to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'd love to have you back. I think maybe we produce 4 podcasts under Manly Girly Studios, right?
Okay.
This is the Manly Girly Show. We do Casa the Thinking. We do Gringo and the Rough.
Oh, wow.
And then Alex Shamil hosts The Side of Fries, but we produce it, right? Like,
okay.
We'd love to have you
we are busy.
Back for Casa the Thinking. What is humor?
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we ask questions that really don't have an answer. We just play
Very
with
philosophical.
the topic.
Oh yeah,
we play with the
absolutely.
topic,
Yeah,
talk shit,
that,
bullshit,
I
But we like to have you here first for the Manly Girly Show to kind of get to know you.
Yeah. You can ask me anything. I'm open book.
We loved having you. Where can we
I
find
answer
you?
anything truthfully, man.
Where can people find you if they want to find you? Obviously, Ghettorauchi on Prime, but what else?
Ghettorauchi's on Prime. Instagram Ghettorauchi. TikTok Ghettorauchi. Facebook, my real government name, Donnell Kearney, / Dink Kearney. And I'm missing another social media. Twitter, I'm on Twitter, Ghettorauchi.
And what movies where they find you?
The movie is Hit a Lick 2.
And Messy.
Yeah.
That's on,
which one do we watch first? Messy?
Watch Messy first.
Messy first.
And then watch Hit a Lick 2. That's on Tubi TV. Also, I'm also an author, so you can get my book on Amazon Prime. It's called The Sparrow Will Fly. Very inspirational book.
Is that in the erotica section, or is that?
Oh no, that's the inspiration.
That's the next book.
That's the inspirational book. The Sparrow Will Fly. Very inspirational book about a young kid with cancer. And I also got my own shoe line too. Called the G. Yeah, it's called the G. It's go to aliveshoes.com and you put in the G. Quotations the G, and I have my own shoe line too, so feel free to support it. It's kind of expensive, but people like y'all can afford it. And the dinosaur man behind who's coming up next, he definitely can afford it.
The thing of it is,
Will can definitely afford it. Yeah, he's married to a rich white woman too, so I know he can afford it.
You can't go out with like some busted kicks. You got to have the right kind.
Yeah, you got to have the right kind. I was gonna wear them. But I was running late, so I just threw these on.
Next time. And
I don't wear anything on my feet because you can't see me.
Right.
Awesome.
Why are you trying to make me uncomfortable?
Well, Dink,
how comfortable are these shoes?
I love them. They look nice. That's nice.
Yeah. Well, Dink, Ghettorauchi, thank you for coming.
Thank
and we
you.
can't wait to have you back.
Yeah, I appreciate you for having me, man. And I would love to come back.
Yeah,
Awesome.
thank you for
I
coming.
feel special, man. I came to the Gotham.
Thank you, man.
Gotham.
Well, this has been Casa de Thinking. Thank you very much.
Thank you. This is what's up.
Yeah.